This is a brain. No, seriously though. This is a sheep brain. Some notable things when we start is that sheep goes bat and its head sticks out the forward, so we can see that we have the spinal cord that I have my hand on now, right? This is gonna come posterior in sheep. And in humans, the brain's gonna be a little bit more formed like this, where the spinal cord goes inferior, right? So a little bit of a structural difference, but nothing major here. So let's go ahead and go over the major two parts of the brain if you're just looking at it from the outside, and that's going to be the cerebrum, okay, and the cerebellum. Okay, cerebrum, all of this stuff, cerebellum down here. Okay, now in the cerebrum we can see two major structures on the outside, and this is what gives the brain its stereotypical bumpy shape. Okay, we have these sulci. These are going to be these ridges that run throughout the cerebrum, and the gyri. Hey class, can you guys cut the chit chat for 1 second? I'm trying to make a study guide for you guys. Thank you. So these are gyri that actually rise up, right? So we just think of these as valleys, that's the sulci, and then gyri, that's all the ridges, right? And that's found throughout the entire cerebrum. Now, the cerebrum can be broken into the left and right cerebral hemispheres by the longitudinal fissure. Okay, the longitudinal cerebral fissure, longitudinal fissure. Okay, that's this divide right here. And even if we didn't cut this, right, this divide would still be present. Okay, we also have another fissure that is going to separate out the cerebrum from the cerebellum. Okay, and this is called your transverse fissure. When we open the transverse fissure, we're going to see what everyone likes to call the baby's butt with a hemorrhoid. And that is going to be called the Corporal Quadrigemina. Okay, so right here is the Corporal Quadrigemina. Okay, these on both sides are the superior colliculi of the Corporal Quadrigemina. I know it sounds like a rap. Superior colliculi of the Corporal Quadrigemina, inferior colliculi of the Corporal Quadrigemina. Okay, and then coming out the top here, if we can find it in here. All right, it's just stuck on the one side, so that looks funny. Hang on, let me get this out here. We got some stuff in the way. If you were to look in the back here, I'm just going to do it on this one side so I can hold it open. We have what people like to describe as the hemorrhoid from the baby's butt. So baby's butt, this would be the hemorrhoid. That is the pineal gland. That's what makes melatonin, makes us sleepy. Okay? If we go ahead and look at the, well, I guess we might as well do the covering. Before we move on to the cranial nerves, 1, 2, and 3, we have a covering, right? This durable, leathery covering. That's going to be one in the most prominent layer of what we call the meninges. The meninges is all of the coverings that surround the brain. And if you guys remember dissecting it, it had like a white leather layer on top of it. And that outermost layer, which you can see little bits of still attached to the skull, this leathery stuff here, that is called the Dura Mater. Okay? Deep to the Dura Mater, so sitting right in here, is going to be a cobwebby layer. That cobwebby layer is the arachnoid mater, or you can just call it the arachnoid layer of the meninges. Okay, that's going to sit on the inside of the Dura Mater. Okay, and then really connected to the brain itself, we have the pia mater. If you look closely on here, and I don't know if it'll even show up in your video, we have like if I had a pin, it would kind of be easier to show. But it's what is giving this brain its shininess right now. That's that little thin membrane, the pia mater. Okay, so we'll go ahead and move on to the inferior portion of the brain, or the underneath part. And we'll do the cranial nerves first. So for cranial nerves, we have cranial nerve 1, that's going to be our olfactory nerve. Okay, and this is going to be broken into a couple parts. We right here have our